Did you know that forests and wildlife are interrelated? I'm sure you do. Forests are home to a variety of wildlife including birds, animals, and even the tiniest microbes. What happens when we cut down trees? Well, we are unhoming the wildlife that is dependent on these forests. What exactly are we snatching away from them? In scientific terms, we are attacking the biosphere. Biosphere is the sphere of the earth in which the living organisms exist and the sphere that supports life. What happens when we attack this very support system? The answer is obvious. We are putting everyone's lives at risk. Whose lives am I talking about? Yes, the innumerable living organisms in the biosphere. They constitute the biodiversity of the environment. What do we mean by the term biodiversity? Biodiversity constitutes the number of living organisms like plants, animals, and even microbes that exist on Earth. These organisms are also interrelated and have a close relationship with the environment. For example, microbes increase the fertility of the soil. The plants depend on soil, sun, and air. Humans depend on plants and animals. Humans also need water and air for survival. Can you see how each one is connected and dependent on the Earth? Well, these diverse life forms in the biosphere constitute the biodiversity of the Earth. Now tell me, do you think that the biodiversity of one region can be different from another? Think about it. Do we find penguins near the equatorial regions? Of course not. Similarly, we will not find trees of the equatorial region surviving near the poles. Thus, we can say that the biodiversity of one region is varied and distinct from that of another. Why do we find such differences? Plants and animals can grow and survive only in specific temperatures and climatic conditions. That is why their habitats are region-specific. How do we protect animals and plants in their habitats? For that, let me introduce you to the concept of protected areas. What exactly are protected areas? Governments of various countries mark certain areas as protected. And which areas are included in this? Those which are rich in biodiversity or even have animals and plants that are threatened. Do you know how many such areas can be marked? There are 3 of them. Sanctuaries, biosphere reserves, and national parks are the names of the 3 types of protected areas. You heard your grandparents being nostalgic about the past? They say things like, earlier there used to be trees here, or we would wake up to the sound of birds. Now, can you tell me why this isn't a reality anymore? For starters, we could blame ourselves for wanting huge buildings and wide roads. Where has the natural cover of forests disappeared? In truth, we have cut down all those trees in the name of development. Can you tell me what this process is called where many trees and plants are cut out? Yes, we call it deforestation. Clearing up forests for human benefit is called deforestation. Can you name a few reasons why man clears up forest lands? Agriculture, that's right. We clear land to bring more land under cultivation. What other reasons can you think of? Yes, for building factories, houses and roads. And what about cutting trees for wood and fuel? Isn't that another reason? Of course it is. Man has cut trees over the years, and do you know this very action has caused some serious reaction? Yes, we call them consequences. We cannot get away by reducing the green cover on our planet. Trees and plants are a part of an ecological chain and they maintain a specific balance. Let us see how many deforestation consequences you are able to identify from the following pictures. You can now imagine the extent of consequences deforestation has, can't you? Let us look at each of these in a little more detail. Trees and plants give out oxygen and use carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. With reduced plants and trees, the level of carbon dioxide on the earth is increasing. Carbon dioxide cannot escape into space and like many other harmful gases, it is creating a blanket of heat around the Earth. This increasing heat has led to a famous phenomenon known as global warming. This is the cause of the increase in the temperature of the Earth. Do you know that according to studies, the last few decades of the 20th century have been hottest in the last 400 years? This can create a chain of events. High temperatures affect the water cycle. Glaciers melt at an alarming pace. Soil cannot hold excess water during rainfall or even rise in sea level. Both these events can cause floods. On the other hand, any change in the water cycle can also lead to droughts. Haven't you noticed the erratic climate changes in your area? These are all results of deforestation. Let us see how the water table is affected due to deforestation. Trees and plants have roots which hold the soil and allow water to percolate into the soil. With trees around, water does not run off, carrying away with it the topsoil. This means that absence of trees would cause increased soil erosion, removal of topsoil layer, and reduced underground water levels. Soil that is devoid of its top layer is infertile, and gradually open lands become deserts. This process is called desertification. Land that had once harbored rich trees and wildlife now remains a desert devoid of all life. What about pollution? As already stated, increased release of harmful gases has caused global warming. This pollutes the air around us. It is therefore evident that all consequences are interrelated. Rampant cutting down of trees will only add to more problems around us.